I used to think that Canva was my only jam. That was it. There's nothing better than Canva. There was one thing that I was never able to do in Canva, and Figma can do it. I'm sorry, Canva. I know I made a video prior to this, and I said that Figma sucks. And Figma still sucks a little bit for all intents and purposes. But for this specific thing, Figma rocks my socks off, blows my socks off. It does something with my socks. Let me show you why this is super important. If you're selling on Amazon and you want to affect your main hero image for better CTR, I talk about ad nauseum for doing best practices, putting a package, a box behind your product to say exactly what it is. Figma just does it way, way better. Let me show you first how we would typically do this in Canva. Okay, so I'm in Canva right now, and what I would typically do when I'm talking about putting the package behind the product, let's say I have a bottle of something, doesn't really matter. Let's say it's a supplement. Say we have a supplement bottle right here. Typically what I would say is to put a box behind the product for better merchandising. And then what I would typically do is I would typically go to just this box because I have to do direct text on this box. I can't do anything on the sides or anything like that. So I would say, okay, this is a biotin supplement, right? Make this bigger, throw this here, probably make it bolder. It's going to make it wacky, whatever. You know, I talk about fading it out to make it look a little bit more natural, and then putting the value prop underneath it. So 100 pills, sounds crazy saying 100 pills, 100 pills, 40-day supply, whatever, that kind of stuff. I don't want to get into it too much. That's how I would typically say to do that. I typically talk about this in any circumstance where packaging is warranted, where no one really cares because it's a utilitarian thing. You're just going to rip it open. There's so many brands that do this kind of thing, but I was never able to do that on boxes like this because in Canva, I can't put text on the side of the box. I'd have to do kind of this and shrink it down, and it doesn't really look good. It doesn't really, and you definitely can't put it on that side. To me, I just go with the flat one, but Figma, oh boy, Figma can do it. Let me show you Figma. So we're here in Figma. Now, still, Figma, at least for me, I still can't use it really as well as I'd like to. It's a tool in the toolbox for, at least for what I'm talking about right now. This does not come built in Figma. Figma has something called plugins, and some are free, some you have to pay for. This happens to be one you have to pay for, and it's like 15 bucks a month. But for my use, I'm going to get a ton of usage out of this, so it's well worth the 15 bucks. So to access it, you have to right click, go to plugins, and it's called Artboard Mockups. Doesn't look like much, but it's super cool. That same box, I can go in Figma and I can now do any kind of box positioning. So if I want to put a box on the side, so let's say I want to do a box on the side like that. I can always remove the background, but hey, at least I have the box and the positioning or whatever I want. There's a ton of boxes in here. You don't have to stick to just one or the other. Let me show you on this one because it's a little bit larger and there's no background. So what I'm doing is I'm going to grab this, just click on it. It's going to open up a bunch of stuff. Now you do have to kind of keep this open. Don't ask me why. And don't really move things around because I did that and I screwed the whole thing up. But you can see here, we have a box and a side. And now I don't know why it's called coffee capsule box, whatever. But I have a front design and a side design. Here's why this is awesome. I can now click on the front design. I could change that to, say I want to make it like this weird green color. That's the front. And then I go to the side and I go to fill and I can grab that color again. So I don't want a white box. I want it on brand for what I'm doing. It's not just click and go. I wish it was. But you have to keep this window open. You have to have the selected frame done. And you hit render. And that's going to take it. It's going to put it right there. It's going to take this. It's going to put it right there. That's friggin' cool. That's friggin' cool. Does it get cooler? It does get cooler. I have yet to design, quote unquote, a label inside of Figma just because it's easier for me to go to Canva to do it. It'll probably change, but you can go here and you can create frames inside of this. So let's say I have a frame right here and maybe I want to do the same kind of frame over here. So now I have these bands over here. So I can then change the color of these bands by going over here, going to fill. And maybe for this one, I want to do a little bit of a darker green. So I can go kind of where that is and then make it a little darker. Cool. And I go back over here and I can go over here and it's going to have that color saved already. So now I have that. So we're going to do the same thing again. So you go to front design, render, side design, render. I didn't have it lined up because I'm a moron. So 282, 282. Good. I got to render this again. There you go. So now you could see I'm wrapping stuff around boxes, folks. If I want to go here and say the text tool, I'm not a fan of the text tool because you see here, I'm making a big thing and it's making it a small thing. So I guess I have to just friggin' zoom in Aspinall. That I don't like. I'm sure there's a fix around that. And then I can't just, like I do in Canva, just expand it and make it bigger. I don't know why. There's probably a shortcut for it. But see how I can do this? Bingo bango. Take this. See, that's too big, but I can't do it over here. So maybe I'll do like, I could type it in to like 85. Cool. So now I have Aspinall over here, and that's aligned like that. So Aspinall, one cool thing is if I take Command and just drag it, nope. If I take Shift and just drag it, nope. I forgot the Control. Is it Alt? One of them, Alt, Option. Sorry, there we go. And drag it. It'll just copy that below it. So Aspinall supplements. That's too big. So just go over here. That's the one big thing I don't like about this. So like 45. So Aspinall supplements. So I'm still going to be able to, I'm still going to have to go in Canva and at least for what I need to do, make this label. And I'll show you what that looks like. Then I could do on the design over here, I can do kind of anything I want. I can do logos. That's the other thing with plugins. Manage plugins and then search for like icons. There's so many icons. Some of them are free, some of them aren't. I know Icon Duck looks kind of cool, so I'll run that. I got a bunch of icons. So I can go over here and let's say it's pretty basic. I'm sure there's better ones, but let's say I wanted to do like a logo over here talking about health. One thing I noticed is if you don't hold the shift key, it makes it wacky. You want to hold the shift key at all times when you're resizing, or you can just go and plug in the dimensions. So if I want them 100 wide, it'll just do that. So then, okay, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to put this at the top middle, and I'm going to go over here and I want to hit that with 100. So maybe I'll put the moon in the middle of that jam right there. And then maybe I just want to put something else. And this is super basic. I know I'm not making it really interesting, but hey, let's say I want to take this and then maybe I want to take this and put it vertically, rotate it. And then let's say this was text that you want to put on the side of the box, kind of like that. Again, this is super ugly and not good looking at all. But then you have to go back in and run the artboard mockup again, select the front design, render it, okay, and select the side design and render it. How friggin' cool is that? How many of you have tried to do packaging out of everything that I've been saying and you haven't been able to do so in Canva because you can't do it? So this is a super basic way of doing it. What I want to do is take the dimensions from this, which is 446 by 1000, and the dimension of this, which is 222 by 1000, and then create the label in Canva and then bring it over here to make it better. So let's do that real quick. In Canva, I'm going to do a custom size 446 by 1000, and I'm going to create that. So this is this one right here. So I'm going to make this, and I just find it easier in Canva to create stuff. I don't know why. The only problem I see having is making sure that the grid is set up. Actually, no, I have a grid right on the side over here. So then I want to say, you know, supplements. So graphics for my supplements. Maybe I want to do this over here. Maybe I want to do that. And see, I can just change all this stuff in Canva and it's already right here and super easy. So if I wanted to do like, I don't know, another kind of wrap over here and make this white, it's easy for me to do this. And again, it'll probably get easier as I kind of work with Figma a little bit more, but I just find it super easy to do in Canva right now, for me at least. Let's say these are my supplements. You know, here's my supplement bottle. I mean, stuff's looking crazy, but you get the idea. Maybe we'll move this down here where it's kind of spilling off. And these are my super duper supplements. There we go. And then I can just go here and say Aspinall. But see, this is why I like Canva. I could take the text and just go like this. That's why it's super easy. That's why I prefer to do this in Canva. for the text, Aspinall, and then just duplicate that and supplements. See, with Canva, it's hard because it runs off, but that's okay because I can just do that. Duplicate this white line, make it super thin. And then, I could hit it with the effects that I already know, all this kind of good stuff. That's that. So then what I want to do is I want to share it. I want to download it as a PNG. I tried to do it as a PDF. I thought that would be a higher res, but you got to do it as a PNG. So let's go drop it in Figma. All right, so we're in Figma. I'm going to grab my label. Here it is over here. I just want to kind of delete all this stuff and then just bring that in there like that. Then we still want to have the plugin open, which is kind of annoying, but then I'm going to select this. I'm going to hit render. What do you know? What do you know, folks? And I can go ahead and just take this and remove this. I can go and take the color on this one and I can grab the color from here. Grab this bad boy. And maybe I don't need this kind of color anymore. So I'll remove that. And maybe we want to change that to white. And perhaps we want to duplicate that. So I can just do the option, do it again. And it's going to tell me, are they 71 apart? Go over here, hit render. It's actually crazy. It's actually crazy that you can do this and it's super, super easy because then for all intents and purposes, if you want to bring this into Canva, you can take this, save it in Canva, save it as a PNG, export it, or you can just bring in your stuff over here. So let's say I had that bottle of supplements. I want to grab a photo, make it real. Go ahead. Okay. This is bottle. So that's downloaded. Let's go back to Figma. I'm in Figma. I'm going to grab it, bring it over here. And what do you know? There we go, folks. But now you have a packaging render that's crisp and clean and does everything you want to do and nothing that you don't want to do right inside Canva. I'm sorry, right inside Figma. Whoops. But guys, let me know what you think. I think it's really cool. This is definitely something that I'm going to be using Figma for as I go. Game changer. Totally need it. Let me know what you think.